All right, we are excited to have our panel today. The goal today is to talk with some of West USA's top team leaders, how they are handling today's historic times, and more importantly, how they are training and talking with and working with their teams to help them be successful. And we have Carlos Cicero from the Cicero Group. Carlos, welcome. We have Lauren Rosin from the Lauren Rosin team and Shawn Rogers from the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Three of you, we welcome you guys to the webinar, and we appreciate, especially you, Lauren, getting up super early for us. We appreciate that.
Not busy, just Monday morning.
So let's just start with this, and we're just going to go in order as I ask these questions. We'll start with Carlos, and go to Lauren, and then go to Shawn. But I feel like, there's two types of agents right now during these COVID-19 times. There are the agents that have been sitting back, assuming that the market is going to come to a halt and assuming no one's going to be doing real estate. What we're learning is that couldn't be further from the truth. A lot of agents and a lot of agents on your guys' teams are incredibly busy right now. So Carlos, let's start with you. What are you personally doing as a real estate professional to be successful during this time? How has your business or your strategy pivoted?
Thank you. Is this Mike or Nick?
This is Mike.
Can you know I'm still on. My mic is on.
Yeah, you're on.
But Mike's on. My picture looks like I'm dead.
It's okay. You sound great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Well, my picture is stiff. I think the corona got me.
Yeah, that's a different kind of virus for your computer.
Anyway.
Different kind of virus.
Yeah, exactly. So excuse the video there. But anyways, we've been practicing a lot of things since we came from Revelation over to West USA, and then basically staying committed, focused with what we need to do as far as adjusting to the change. And then also we had the COVID idea also. That's a big change for us to be able to do everything virtually and everything. So, and then also we also had a 30% growth coming from Revelation. So those are big challenges that we had, and we're still adjusting to those. But some of the things we've been doing is just staying connected, just pure staying connected with the clients, partners, anybody, community, everything that just keeps us in the top of their mind, basically. And that's what we've been doing, just doing texting, emails, calls, mass text, things like that. When we have some downtime, we have our meetings and team meetings, but also you need to practice that time to get organized, basically. And when the market does come back, you end up being ready with a ready, good focus, recommitted type of an attitude. So
what are the top, what are the top couple things you guys are focusing on to get reorganized?
Basically, we've got a new CRM that we implemented last week, in fact, with the team. Very good CRM. It's called KV Core. And we're all learning that and getting organized, getting our databases back into active status and starting calling, more organized type of an approach to calling clients and prospects. So that's one of the top things. The other thing is during our meetings, a lot of our agents are having a mastermind still with clients. So they're visiting other webinars and actually getting a lot more versed and more data from the industry, from our real estate industry, so we can talk intelligently with the clients, basically. We're not sitting around. That we are not doing. We have cut back a lot of our services as a team, such as staging and things like that, but not much. We're still doing a lot of work virtually.
Lauren, what are you doing specifically to, I'm not going to say stay busy, but more so to remain your success and continue your success during these times while other agents seem to be having a harder time finding their way?
So as far as soon as I saw this kind of turning, I had a feeling we were going virtual. So I immediately had videos of all my listings shot, and those got done within 48 hours. So those all got inputted. And then as far as showing request, If it's an occupied home, we're confirming they watch the video, because the videos really help them explain the house and they can see the home. And then we're making them show us their pre-qual letters. If the house is occupied, we're not even allowing showings all week long. We have like either 1 or 2 set time slots during the week that we let them go in. But it's been great because it's creating multiple offer situations, making people wait all week to see a house, and then you're getting multiple offers. And as far as my team goes, I'm just telling them, do not turn on Netflix, do not turn on TV. This is the time to like get your CRM dialed in, get your database dialed in, call everybody in your network and ask them if they're okay. You know, maybe don't call them and ask for referrals right now. Just say, are you okay? Do you need me to go to the store for you? And like, be a human. And I think like being a human and like showing that we really care, and that we're more than just trying to sell you a house, we're really trying to be your friend and like partners for life. So I've really just been driving to my team. I'm like, I expect everybody's CE hours to be completed by May 1st. So they're all working on that. I'm on 2-3 webinars a day. I've been drinking from a fire hose, all this free knowledge, and not having to go somewhere and have small talk. And, you know, I could just turn on this webinar for 45 minutes and kind of learn a lot. It's been really, I've been enjoying like all the Zoom and all the information. And I love that like the real estate communities really kind of come together.
Yeah.
More than I've ever seen, actually, like us doing these webinars and being involved with other kind of brokerages and stuff. It's been really interesting.
Shawn, what about you? Shawn is the leader of the Mr. Rogers Homes team out in the East Valley. Shawn?
Well, Mike, good morning. And I'd like to start off by saying thanks to West USA for all you do, and God bless America. That being said, you know what? In times like this, Mike, I think change equals opportunity. And to answer your question about how we're approaching the market in general, I think show kindness, understanding, and empathy from a point of view of professional to professional, and from a point of view of just the general public, as we've moved from, in my humble opinion, from certainty to uncertainty, and the masses will always come to the professionals to seek advice. So I think as far as the team's concerned, we're all licensed professionals with a code of ethics, with a moral code. Just move forward, helping those who need help. And when people need, I guess, comfort, they turn to the people that they rely and trust. And in this profession, that's us. So I just want to steady the sails and keep the boats moving forward on course.
All right, Carlos, as a team leader myself, you know, my team was operating at, I'm not gonna say a certain level, but was operating in certain systems in specific ways. We were handling our business. We were getting leads a certain way. You know, a lot of our teams are doing open houses and business networking groups, and so we have a specific strategy ourselves. And so when COVID-19 hit, and we had to pivot ourselves, there were specific things that we had our team doing that completely changed their business model. And, you know, and some of our agents have had tremendous success with those. What are some specific teams when you started sitting down with your team and seeing the changes in the marketplace, seeing the changes and the impact from COVID-19, that you sat down and said, okay, these are the things you need to do right now. These are the things that you need to focus on when it comes down to client relations and generating generating leads for when I'm describing as a monsoon of opportunities later on this summer. But what specific tips did you give them?
Yeah, most of the tips that and the discussions we've had as a team during our meetings and things like that, we've had a lot of them go back to the databases basically and start calling, start texting, emails and things. A couple of our agents actually had 2-3 leads come back. I had one myself, and in fact, I've sold one already. We're doing a project on that lead, and then also other agents have basically reconnected and rekindled a relationship, because it's actually we're still in a relationship selling type of a model, although we're all virtual. And we basically are doing that. We're including a lot of video with our listings, a lot more virtual type of almost Matterport, but not quite. It's actual true video of a home. That basically gets us a lot more exposure. We are planning on having some open houses with a lot of social distancing matters and requirements being put in place. We've got a lot of agents that are now starting to rekindle their relationships with their database, basically.
You're doing actual open houses or virtual open houses?
We're doing an actual open house with virtual measures included in it too. We've got a virtual open house, but we've got people coming in, and we're doing all the measures, all the precautions for COVID-19 are being taken into place, and we've got all those rules and in place right now.
Hey, Carlos, let me ask you this about your open houses. We, as on the corporate side, are not necessarily encouraging agents to actually do physical open houses. However, we know agents are. Are you finding that the buyers that are visiting in-person open houses tend to be a little more serious than in the past?
I think so. I think it's going to be that way. Let me clarify that. It's going to be the first one this weekend, and it's actually my house. So I'm hoping I don't get a lot of neighbors pissed off at me, but that's going to happen. But I honestly, I think it can be done. We're going to have one set of people going into the house, going in one way, coming out another way. A lot of the rules and COVID-19 regulations will be adhered to. So again, we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be really good. We got a lot of advertising going on. We've got new signage for our open houses. We've got virtual not virtual, it's social distancing signs that we've got on our open house riders. And that will tell everybody that we're basically telling them that it's okay to come and by and take a look at the house. Then we've got a virtual setup that if anybody out of state or within the state or within the city, they can dial into a Zoom conference, and I will take them around the house and show them the entire house.
All right, Lauren, what about you when you sat down with your team and said, okay, these are some specific things that you need to do to adjust to these times?
A lot of the virtual tours. Try to do some virtual open houses, but I haven't gotten much. My team hasn't been that excited about it. We're not doing any open houses right now. I thought the Department of Real Estate actually was frowning on it. But
well, the National Association of Realtors has discouraged it, but nobody has officially said you can't. Just to be clear.
Correct.
I'm just really trying to remind everyone to get back to the basics, which is touching your database. I've gone in and redid all our workflows and all our drips and like added our app to everything. So I've just been doing a lot of cleaning up. Good. And so I feel like, and my team is busy. I don't know. I mean, are you guys busy? I mean, like, it's great. And our listings are through the roof, obviously. So we're heavy on I'm really getting concerned about the more higher end listings though, because the financing got pulled back. Yeah. And I think we could all be as positive and happy as we want, but at the end of the day, if you're a listing agent, you need to be grilling that lender. If they have under a 640 credit score, don't be accepting that pre-qual. Like, don't even accept the contract. Yeah. And so I just think we just need to be smarter and really be doing our due diligence and know, like, as my listing manager, like, she has very direct orders. Like, we do not accept pre-qual letters from any brokers, only bankers, because I'm hearing that a lot of the brokers' locks aren't being honored. They don't have any relationship with the bank, so it's kind of like having a middleman. So we're only taking pre-qual letters from actual bankers. We're asking them questions like, what are the FICO scores? Have you really qualified them? So we're just doing a lot more due diligence on the listings and stuff. The videos are a must, obviously. And like I said, with the occupied homes, we're really trying to limit the showings to like I did one Saturday, we did 1 to 5. So you could schedule 30 minutes between that time period. So that everyone come in, went back, disinfected the home, and the clients went home.
Okay. Shawn, what about you when you sat down with your team and they had to adjust a little bit of their business model? What specific direction did you give them?
Traditionally, Mike, overall, I stuck to the game plan, and as always, just kind of modified it with changing in the market. I always like to start off everything with glass half full and a positive mindset. Again, I'll go back to with change. Sometimes you just have to alter what you're doing or what's working, and just focus like a laser on certain points that have changed slightly. For example, we're mentioning virtual. virtual touring, for example, is nothing so much new. It's just now a different modification of it. If you look back through all of real estate's history, before the internet, before fax machines, everything was done person to person. And if you look now at a vast majority of the transactions that we do, a lot of it is via DocuSign or excuse me, the internet. So now this is one step, I guess, closer. And with that change, Mike, I think if you hug it, if you embrace it, then you would understand that virtual touring, for example, might be something that, for lack of a better word, better and smoothens out a process that was going rather well to begin with. So to answer your question, I just try to keep the team positive and just remember that it's all about, helping others. And if you do that, I know it sounds cliche, but if you give, you'll get, and that's just from my heart.
Okay, and we'll go back to you, Carlos. I think everybody is on the same page as far as having, yourselves as real estate professionals and your team members, going back through the database and touching people. What specific things are you training your team to be saying? I know for us at the Recon Group, and something that has been incredibly successful for us is when we're calling anybody in our sphere of influence and anybody in our database. Obviously asking them how they're doing, but just say, hey, we understand during these historic times, a lot of people have a lot of questions about the impact that COVID-19 is having on the real estate market. What questions do you have that I can answer? So that's one of the strategies that we're using. We're seeing a lot of success just with that script and with that dialogue. What other specific things are you having your team saying when they do call their database?
Yes, it's one of the things that you need to be like everything that went through prior to this webinar, Todd's numbers, Matt Baker's information. You have to be in tune to all of that right now, so you can be a little bit more informed about what's happening with the market. Now, this is the kind of attitude you need to have with your clients also when you meet with them, and be positive. Be very positive and secure with your answers. To their questions, right? You are going to be seen as a market expert in front of them. So you need to partner with your lenders, title companies, any kind of economic type of resource you might have, so you can learn about what's happening with the market and what's going to happen. I feel good about the interest rate. So that's one of the things that I tell my clients when I meet in front of them. All the other agents on our team are doing that the same too. They are also meeting with partners just to learn about our environment, our community, our city, and our state, about what's happening in real estate. So that you have to be the source to go to, and your answers need to be crisp, firm, concise, and a lot of reassurance that things are going to be okay. That's the kind of things that you need to be telling the clients when you get in front of them.
What about you, Lauren? What are you saying, or what is your team saying when they are just calling people in their database, especially if they haven't talked with them in a while?
Kind of going off of what Carlos is saying, just kind of reaffirming, like, you gotta understand, Arizona's real estate market compared to the rest of the country is doing really well. Other parts of the country is not. We were below 2 months of inventory for a year. We're such a strong seller's market. Like, we needed a balance, So I'm just looking at it like this is a great thing. The hedge funds have stopped buying. The iBuyers have pulled out. Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow pulled out. To me, this is like an amazing opportunity. We're really calling our 250 lead ranges right now because we're finally getting them in contract because we're not competing with these cash buyers. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity. I think Arizona is the place to be. Now, if you're telling me how's real estate doing in New York City, no, I wouldn't probably buy there right now. But, this is an Arizona market. We're growing. If you drive down any freeway, it's being expanded daily. We have new construction everywhere. So I'm just reminding people there's a reason that people are in Arizona, and just trying to keep everyone positive.
Shawn, what about you, buddy?
I'm trying to debate, do I keep my 1.5 million houses on the market, or do I TOM them and save some days on the market because there's really no financing out there for them? Or do I just wait for that cash buyer? So I'm kind of like, the lower end market I think is really strong. I am concerned more about the higher end market, obviously. I think office space is going to take a hit because everyone's learning to work from home and actually do stuff at home. And I love, so I'm at the office right now just to have quiet for this. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of positive going on.
Okay. Shawn, what is your team saying when they call people?
Traditionally, Mike, it's a meet and greet, and I guess the root cause of that would be just to say hi and catch up. I guess now everybody in the country, or I guess zoning specifically on Arizona, has a common subject. But in the big picture, if you always stay in touch with your clients and just remember that we're all human again, I guess to answer your question again specifically, when we're reaching out, we're pretty much saying hi and checking out how day-to-day life is with them. And I guess somewhere along those communications with clients, we just ask them to keep us in mind when they're ready to make the proverbial move.
Yeah, it's really interesting during this time. We've had a lot of agents just get their licenses. So welcome to real estate, COVID-19 style. But for the newer agent that is feeling just the impact from COVID-19, really hasn't had a chance to get things off the ground. We'll start with you, Carlos. What piece of advice would you give the newer agent?
Hang in there. It'll get better. I started in real estate about 10 years ago, which was the short sale and foreclosure era. And I was looking at $1,200 checks, and I'm like, oh my God, is this what real estate is all about, right? Selling homes. I think the cheapest home I sold was $16,000 back then, and it got better as time went by. My skills improved and the economy improved. It does get better. Now, I think this is going to be more temporary, this COVID-19, but it'll come back with a big old wave that we're all going to be busy. Both buyers and sellers are going to be busy, and it's a good positive thing to have. I just read in the paper this morning that housing starts fell about 22% in the nation, in the U.S., but I don't think that number is that bad here in the state. I think this state is, because we've got so many people coming into the state, there's still opportunities, a lot of opportunities, people coming in and retiring here or moving just because of the job economy that's here. Okay, so again, I think housing starts here did fall in the state, but not as drastic as 22%. But I think it's going to be a good thing. So hang in there, it'll get better, and you're in a good spot here at West USA. I love it.
Awesome. What about you, Lauren?
So my advice would be the same as it is always, which is join a team, align yourself with professionals that know how to lead through this, that know how to adapt and change. I think agents blow my mind. It's always like, what's the split? Yeah, well, what's 0% of 0? It's still 0. And I was on a team for the first 2 years of my career. I think it should be mandatory in this industry. I can't believe it's not. And so my advice is align yourself with the right people. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Great, you can do 5 deals a year by yourself. You could do 30 on my team, Yeah. So I think it's just aligning yourself with the right people. These are obviously 2 other great leaders that have a pulse on the market, know how to adapt. They have their CRM. So you want to align with the right people. And that's I would tell you that now or 5 years ago.
Shawn, what about you, pal?
Mike, I would say much like any profession, and I would just go with boxing. You just don't put on a pair of gloves, get in the ring, and call yourself a professional. So I always say surround yourself with the professionals, and Lauren and Carlos said it best. If you want to achieve a certain level, me personally, I always like to look at ones that I would aspire or want to be like in the industry or maybe surrounding industry. So I always say, look, nobody, and I mean nobody's going to cheat the grind. You're working around the clock, you're working smarter, you're working harder, but really the whole game plan starts with a game plan. And when you dial that in, Mike, again, the process really, pick up the phone, call your circle, knock on doors, maybe when this is all over. But the bottom line is just drive towards the, I guess, goal line, because ultimately, Mike, this is a profession where you truly have to be or have a solid mindset. And again, surround yourself with the people that are best going to help you. West USA, team leaders, coaching in general, that's what I try to just push as hard as I can. This is very doable, but it's not going to just come to you. The fish isn't going to jump in the boat traditionally.
And I think all of us as team leaders, we have seen this. And to your point, Lauren, I take a look at some of, because I've been tracking some of the agents that we were excited about and chose not to join the team and go the solo route. And I keep thinking they're really struggling right now. And I keep thinking, boy, had they joined the team, they'd be as successful as the other members of the team. So to your guys' point, I want to encourage everybody who's listening to this. We have those three people up on your screen right now are some of the top team leaders here at West USA, and they have a proven track record to help their agents elevate their game, close more deals, and achieve the goals that they have. So I've included everybody's email address there at the bottom of the screen. And I would encourage you to write down those email addresses and contact one of these three team members and let them help you become more successful. There's not one of them. If I was new to real estate or I was looking to join a team, I would join any three of these teams. All right, guys, I want to get to me. To me, I think the most important question.
Sorry, 1 second. Isn't it Mindy Thompson? She's in charge of all the teams because there are like 20 teams at West USA, so people could also like look at those teams also. Yeah. I would recommend.
Okay, thank you.
Post that. Sorry.
All right, so the most important, or you could just email us at webinar@westusa.com and we can point you in the right direction. I just wanted to say no one's going to go wrong with either three of you. All right, to me, the most important question is because this is part of, and next week for our team, we're going to do a lot of training on this. And I'm always interested in hearing other people's perspective, especially people whom I respect. But right now, our team, they're facing a lot of objections out there. They're talking with people. They're having a hard time moving the needle. People are saying, "Hey, I just want to wait for this to blow over. I think the market's going to crash. I think property values are going to drop. So I want to get in at the right time." And so these are some of the key objections. So I'd love for you to. And we'll start with you, Carlos, again. What's the key objection that you guys are getting and how are you responding to it?
I think it's COVID. It's the main objection right now. Should we sell? Should we hold? Should we not sell? Should we buy? A lot of contracts have been lost. Some of these have been lost just because of COVID. So again, one of the things you need to do is just kind of listen to why it is that they're pulling out. Now, if it's just COVID uncertainty, you need to mitigate that uncertainty in their minds. I've been able to do that in a couple, and I did it to myself actually because I'm buying another house right now, but I had to talk myself into it. Okay, what are you going to do? You be an example to your clients because you are selling a home, you are buying another one in the midst of all this uncertainty. And I'm a realtor, I'm an agent, right? So again, that's the kind of example or mitigation you need to have. And when you're talking to a client, a buyer or a seller, it's just like what happened in about 5 months ago, no, 3 months ago or so, that everybody started pulling the money out of the market. The market went down, right? Now it's the same thing right now. If you were to sell your home, and if the market for real estate goes down, then you already have that money in your pocket. You're protecting your money. That's what message I send to my clients when they're trying to sell. Okay. Again, if you sell right now, you're just protecting your money. Your cash is going to be in your pocket, and you're not going to be dependent on the real estate market right now. If it crashes, it doesn't really matter because you got your money in your pocket. Now, if it goes up, then you're going to be going back into a market with a high price type of a purchase. Again, if you're a buyer in this market, buy right now. It looks really good. Interest rates are low. Take advantage of that, right? That's the kind of message. But listen to what it is that they're actually afraid of, their doubts, their uncertainty, and respond to that.
Okay, Lauren, maybe I'll get a little more specific, and we'll go on down the line. I'm just going to put myself in the shoes of the seller, and I'm just, and I got a house that's maybe worth, $315,000. I'm very nervous about the market, and I don't think that I should put my house on the market right now. What would you say to me?
Okay, so we're doing a couple things, and so we're Zillow Premier agents, which basically means we can do coming soons and pre-market a property as long as we put it in MLS now, right? So we are.
Yes, thank you for that. Yep.
It's okay, so it's really case by case because I have a gentleman that wants to list in Buckeye, but he's 70, right? Like I can't do showings in his home right now. I told him he just needs to suck it up. We're gonna list like first or second week in May. Occupied home, older gentleman. I don't feel a need to list his home this week. As far as like other people, it just depends. You know, like I said, we're like limiting the showings, we're doing the videos. So I'm telling people they should, I mean, I think you should put your house on the market if you want to sell. And I also think it's just going to depend on the case. Like if you can wait a couple of weeks, maybe wait a couple of weeks because of the influx of listings, but we're still so low on inventory. I'm a huge pre-marketer, so I'll take your listing and I'll put on the ER like not to be listed on MLS until notified in writing by seller, and that gives me permission to start marketing that property. So I can start marketing, I can test the value, I can put it on Zillow coming soon, which allows me to see the saves versus the views. As long as I'm over 5%, I know I'm kind of priced correctly. So I just kind of look at the whole picture. I think it's gonna be case by case with the sellers. As for the buyers, I think there's tons of opportunity out there. And I think it's a really good time to get in. Like I said, on the lower end stuff, the hedge funds pulled out, the iBuyers pulled out. This is when those first-time home buyers in that 250 price range are going to get their offers accepted. So I'm really pushing the low end buyers to really get out there and get serious.
So my thought, and correct me where I'm wrong, but if I'm talking with a seller and they're worried about the market, you know, it still never hurts to put your house on the market because you're not forced to accept any offers. So there's really not any risk for a seller outside of somebody coming into your home with the virus. But especially if the house is vacant, as something crazy happens with the market, a seller can always pull their house off the market or is not forced to take any offers, right?
Yeah, vacant I would list all day right now.
Yeah. All right, Shawn, how are you handling key objections, or what key objections are you seeing that are COVID-19 related?
Well, traditionally, I guess the health concern of the pandemic is leading to, I guess, clients or potential clients being concerned, and many of their objections. My advice would be not to so much handle them in a debate situation. When people are scared, they want advice, and the advice I give them is, you know, sometimes we have to take a big step back. And Mike, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Any team or agent can double their sales or triple their sales, or it could go the other way around. So with me personally, I've never been a pushy salesman kind of person. So for me, to answer your question again specifically, when it comes to listing properties, I want to hear each story as it unfolds, and then I'll make the professional decision for the client, with the client, to move forward with them. Flipping with buyers, the opportunity right now is kind of leveling itself out, where there's opportunities for them to take advantage of the market as such right now. And again, I think Lauren and Carlos said it spot on. I'll use the word blessed in Arizona. I don't see any slowdown for what we're doing right now. We've been busy. It's just an altering of calming clients down that may need the advice for their moves right now.
Okay. The common thing that I'm hearing, and to Shawn's point, is as everybody, you know, when this thing blows over, most experts predict that, you know, first of all, the real estate market here in Arizona is going to be the catalyst that is going to push our economy through this. Everybody's expecting a pretty strong summer, a very strong Q3, and a stronger Q4 than we normally see. But how are you, Carlos, gearing your team up for the summer and when things get, you know, relatively back to normal?
Yeah. Again, we're preparing for the wave that's going to come in, basically, whatever that might be, and whether it's a 15-foot wave or a 7-foot wave, right? You got to go back to what you did last November, to your business plan, and stay focused, first of all. That plan is still there. That plan has been revisited once or twice, depending on the agent. And you need to make sure you revisit that plan and look at your goals. Now, with that in mind, you put other adjustments in place that will handle the COVID virus right now, this pandemic that's going on, and all our quarantine time that we've lost. We have lost some business. I know I have. I've been working on some other things and not focused too much on the business, but you've got to go back to those plans and get ready. Mainly, I would say that you have to get ready for the summer. You have to get ready for the next month or so to come of what's going to happen with the market. Grow from now until that time. When that time happens, grow your partnerships. Make sure you go into this new wave and face the wave that with your partners and with all the data and all the information that you need. Make sure you do stay connected and stay focused and recommit if you have gone to the Netflix side during this quarantine, right? So get recommitted and stay focused, and you'll do good.
Lauren, how are you preparing for the summer, and what are you seeing?
Okay, so I'm not saying that we're not gonna have a good summer and a good end of the year. I'm saying it's an election year. And I'm also telling my team, which I've been telling them for months and months, is save your money and live below your means. I'm a huge believer in going through your bank statements and your P&Ls right now and cutting things out. Do you need Netflix, Hulu, and Pandora? Can you just get rid of one? Like, this is the time where you guys can pretend like the summer's gonna be great and the end of the year is gonna be great. It's an election year. We don't know what's going on. We do have a strong market, but like, you need to be smart. You need to save your money. You need to like so I just really think this is a time to like get your mental and your physical health really dialed in and really get your pocketbook dialed in and save your money, because hopefully this is as strong as we think it's going to be here in Arizona, but like, you just need to be ready for it. I lived through the crash. So, you know, I've been living below my means forever. My mortgage is $1,400 a month. I don't need that fancy big house because I've seen the crash. And I think what matters is buying rental properties where you're putting enough money down that you're actually cash flowing. So it doesn't matter what the value of the property is. The reason we had the first crash is because everybody was betting on the appreciation of the property and not the cash flow. So I'm a huge believer in rental properties, buying them, especially in Arizona. We have an extremely strong market. If I was calling my past clients, I'd be like, is it time to build your wealth? You guys ready to own a rental property? You want to be a landlord? Because guess what? Even though all this is happening and I lost 10 escrows last month, I still had all my tenants, majority of my tenants pay me, and that was more passive income. So I'm just telling everyone to like dial in their expenses.
Okay, that's great. That's great advice.
And they knocked my bill down.
Yes, it's fantastic advice. But yes, I do need Pandora, Hulu, and Netflix. But that's just how I roll. Shawn, what are you seeing for the summer, and how are you guys gearing up?
You know, Mike, I'm always preparing to be busier. And just keep moving forward in that direction. I guess we're always going to follow the facts and figures that are laid out by West USA or the real estate realm in general. But again, I just want to thank everybody, Lauren and Carlos, just for sharing your wisdom with everybody, because that's pretty much the game plan accordingly. I joke about it again, but every boxer has a game plan until he gets punched. And right now, if we got punched with this pandemic, here's the thing: there should be no, and I guess I'll say it as polite as I can, Mike, there should be no real downtime right now. If in fact you're not allowed to be out showing houses per se, you especially on this team, you have stacks and stacks of leads you can go through, past clients, new clients. There's just a lot of things. You organize your game plan and your CRMs again. So I am, to answer your question again, moving forward with business as usual and just following the trends the best I can. But as an end note, should it go the other way, for those of us that have been around for a while in the industry, real estate, like most any business, is all about ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and you just learn to adjust. When people ask us, and my inside joke, how the market is, it's always, unless it's a 50-50 split, Mike, for buyers or sellers, which it rarely ever is, the market's good, just depends on what side of it is. And blessed, Lauren's comment was spot on. If you're not ready right now to per se maybe move, let's buy an investment property. When you have 200 plus people a day moving to Arizona and rents are going through the roof, if you're renting now, let's get you into your first house. if you're somewhere else, let's get you in an investment property. I'm almost positive, and I put that on paper, that things are going to be right where they were as far as the economy, the sunshine, and Arizona being in the top place to be a real estate investor or property owner.
All right. I once again, I want to remind everybody who's watching. I think the best piece of advice that I got out of this, two pieces of advice. One, whether you're showing homes or you're quarantining yourself, there's no reason why you shouldn't be busy. You have things you can do, have activities that you could be doing to help build your business. Number two, I don't think, especially in today's current times, that real estate is a business that should be done alone. And I'd highly encourage you, if you've thought about joining a team or looking to join a team or would like to chat with either of these three, I got their email addresses up there. Definitely reach out to them and see what happens. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you joining us very much. Incredible information. I leave everybody with the quote of the day as soon as our Nick. All right, leave you with the quote of the day from Chris Grosser. And I think this is perfect for today. Opportunities don't happen, you create them. Appreciate everybody joining us today. Stay inside and sell a home.
Thank you, Mike. Take care. If
Thank you,
anybody's
Mike.
interested in seeing a virtual
Thanks,
open house
Carlos
now
and
with
Lauren.
2